Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Treat yourself to the most flavorful pizza on game day. Picasso's. We are Buffalo Pizza. Not we. We are not Buffalo Pizza, but Picasso's is Buffalo Pizza.
Yes, I am. I'm pizza. I am pizza.
Spence's Pizza. Shipping local, nationwide. Order online at picassospizza.net. Welcome, everybody. My name is Joe Miller. I'm the co-host of this here wonderful show. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wire. That guy sitting next to me right over there. And we're wearing like the same color shirts. Like we got the memos.
This is black. Mine's like dark gray.
Mine's okay. Charcoal. And don't ruin my vibe.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You're right. We're wearing the same color shirts.
we got the memo today. Jay Spencer King, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Dude, I was in the car for 6 hours. So I put a tweet out, and you know already. But I had I had a trade show in Toronto and got to go to Toronto today. The border is officially open. I had a bunch of people that were like on Twitter, is the border open? And I'm like, the border is open. I got there, there was no line. So I got there at 6:30 in the morning. There was no line. I was in 20 minutes from leaving my front step. I was in Canada, headed to Toronto. Now the drive to Toronto sucked bad. 3 hours from that point to get the traffic was nightmarish. Wow. And coming home, same thing. But it was great to see Canada. Toronto, or I should say Canada, never looked so beautiful. It's been a long time since I've been able to. I haven't been to Toronto in probably 20 years, since before I moved to Columbus. So,
man, you'd be missing it, man. You got to go to Carabana. You know what I mean? It's like you got to party.
Yeah, I haven't been. I can tell you this. Sidebar: we talked about this at lunch today. You know me, and you and I talk offline, and we've talked, I think, online. I am the forever promoter of the Buffalo waterfront, and that something needs to be done with our waterfront. And you and I've talked a lot about it. Mm-hmm. And the weather in Buffalo is remarkably similar to the weather in Toronto. Oddly enough, their waterfront is beautiful, and they have one where people go and they hang out, and there's bike paths and stuff to do, and stages for concerts and all kinds of things on the waterfront. I can't imagine why anybody would want to do that in the wintertime in Toronto, because that's what I'm told about Buffalo. But that's sidebar for another day.
I will say, and we don't have to get into it, I will say Toronto does have some things that Buffalo doesn't have. So, I mean, it makes it a little bit easier to enjoy a full weekend of cold.
True.
I'm just going to say that.
I don't think you can enjoy a full weekend of cold, but I know what you're saying.
It's tough.
It's definitely tough. It's definitely tough. So we're going to start the show right off. We're going to we're coming off of a big win.
Hump Day!
There it is.
I waited.
And I'm glad you did, because I forgot. Everybody that's watching on YouTube Live or Twitter or Facebook, please hump that as we like to say. Subscribe, whatever platform you're on. If you're consuming this in podcast form, same thing. Like it, subscribe it. Leave us a little, what do they call it? Recommendation, or leave a little thing there talking about how much you love Jay Spence and myself. But we are live on YouTube right now. Excited to have you. A whole bunch of people are up in the room, and normally this is where we go through it, but there's all kinds of people up in there. Good to see all y'all. But
the big guy is in the room too. The big guy.
John Fina, brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug. But coming off of a big, this is the first you and I have talked about the win. A big win in Baltimore that you attended. And talk me through. I went through my emotions, and I watched your show last night, but I don't know that talk me through the emotions of the game there, bro.
Yeah, watching my show last night, you probably didn't get to fully, because I was excited about Jordan being named AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and then I was excited to talk to Stevie Johnson, who's my personal favorite Buffalo Bill of all time. So it made it difficult for me to really talk about the game. But I tell you, being at the game, so first, and I know there's a couple people I see in the comments who are there as well. I don't think the weather was as bad as the media tried to make it. I feel like it was sprinkling. It was there was never a full downpour to me. I feel like we were supposed to get this really ugly storm that comes in, and it was supposed to ruin everything. It didn't happen. So I feel like that played to our benefit. I don't think the weather had anything to do with the Buffalo Bills first half. I don't think it had anything to do with us. None of it. I think what ended up happening was, I think we came out, and I think the whole team knew that it was a big game against a big team and a big time quarterback. And I just think their emotions had them playing faster than their bodies were playing. So, I just think there was the drop passes and all those mistakes was just about, the hype of the game. And once I just feel like once they went into the locker room at halftime, they're like,
Mm.
okay, look, let's relax. Let's play Buffalo Bill football. And I think that's what they did. I think it's great that the Buffalo Bills can do that and still win, being down at 1 point 17 points. It was a very ugly moment. I'm sure some people saw me on the broadcast not looking too happy.
Yeah.
And it was a moment where I'm just like, what the hell is happening, man? Like, you can't make this up.
I did the Leonardo DiCaprio. You gotta get my finger in the frame. Like, I know those two people.
You just can't make it. You know what? I tell you what though, because I wish they showed the full, like Dan Freddie was there and LaShawn.
Yeah.
LaShawn, I think, was more pissed off than anybody. Like me and Sarah and I both were ticked. Like, don't get me wrong, we were like,
yeah.
LaShawn, like, he is a riot to be at a game with. I just want everybody. So if you win a ticket with him or if you get to hang with him, listen, LaShawn, he was screaming throughout the whole time. When we're down like that, I'm quiet, I'm mad, I'm in my feelings. He's out there yelling. He's like, take him out to get. Like, it was like just the most fun thing. And he's a great guy to be around during the game. And again, everybody saw Sarah's face. Sarah was not happy.
So you're saying that LaShawn wears his emotions on his sleeve? I find that hard to believe.
His sleeve, his hat, his pants, his sneak, like everything, all his kicks, everything. He's just like the most fun, emotionally passionate guy at a game. And he was like that in Miami too. Just like, he's just full of passion. I love it.
Yeah. So he's committed to go to every game this season. Did he go to every game last year?
I don't know. I believe he did. At least to my memory, I would think he did. But.
Yeah, I know Sarah's in the chat. She's planning on going to every game this season, and she was there sitting next to you. She says that she was cold and pissed. So apparently she disagrees with you on the weather not being that bad.
No, I didn't say the weather wasn't cold. I said the rain. Yeah, no, the rain didn't. It was drizzling. She said LaShawn was yelling at the side. He absolutely was.
He was yelling at the players?
Just everything. He was yelling at everybody and everything. I was yelling too for a moment. I was yelling at Sean McDermott, like, "Yo, pay my guy Jordan." I called the Poyer pick. I called the
Which
pick.
one? Which one? The one that
both of them.
Both of them? No.
Both of them. I called the first one, and then I ran up to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh my God, I missed it. But like when I came back, LaShawn was like, "Gosh, you said it. It was great, man." Like, so to come back like that, it was an emotional roller coaster. But I tell you what, it's for me, it was one of those games that I feel like Bills fans and the media, I feel like the media needed, because it's one of those things where, you believe in the team only as much as you want until for the preseason. And then once they start to play and you see certain trends, it's like, okay, they might not be who we thought they were. Yeah. For Josh to stand up like this and to bring this team back and to make those plays, listen, he's big time. Forget what the guy on FS1 with the weird nose says. Forget him. Josh Allen is him. He is him.
We won't mention. I just watched his clip from.
He makes me so mad.
We don't need to talk about it. I clearly spilled my guts on what I felt about the first half and the whole game in general, and I got some negative comments on YouTube and a couple messages. Some were like, "I totally feel you," and then I had a couple that were like, "I had to turn your show off because you were so negative." And it's like, I told you. It was two different games. The Bills played a different game in the first half than they did in the second half, and stick around because the first half is going to be negative. The second half is going to be positive. It was an incredible game. What it comes down to is just the guts, right? The sheer, and I asked John Fina about it on Monday, just this whole concept that we hear all the time about, well, we're learning how to win and we got to learn how to win these games and learning this and learning that. And I don't know. Just seeing what they did coming back from 17 down, where literally the wheels were falling off. I think the best comment that I had about the game in the first half was it felt like 2018 Josh Allen. And what I meant by that was everybody was dropping the football. It felt like Zay Jones was out there, Kelvin Benjamin and Robert Foster. Those were his targets, and they just couldn't hold on to the football. I don't know that first Nick Wright, I said his name, the guy with the funny nose, talked about it in that thing. He said, Josh Allen was horrible in the first half of that game. I disagree. He was hitting guys in the hands, and the balls that weren't were getting tipped. Those weren't his fault.
It wasn't on Josh at all. And then even the Miami game, I feel like when guys like that speak about moments, they don't speak about it with context. Mm-hmm. And when you watch that throw from Josh Allen to Isaiah McKenzie in that game where he threw it into the dirt, that was not like that. That's not typical Josh Allen throwing into the dirt. That was dehydrated fourth quarter. Like that was just like, but I get it. You need your numbers and all that stuff for your views. I get it. You got to have the hate, but
Pat
it's
Mahomes
just,
throws it in the dirt. Lamar Jackson throws it in the dirt. I've seen Tom Brady throw it in the dirt. I've seen Peyton Manning throw it in the dirt. They all do it. It was just a bad
I've seen
time.
everybody throw it in the dirt.
Right.
Every quarterback.
It's just one of those things. But the question is, being that it was a nail biter, what did we learn in this football game? For me, it was a good team as well. So they played a very, very good Ravens team. I know the defense is a little bit suspect, but I think we learned from this game that there might not be a deficit that's insurmountable for this football team. Like they can come back when they need to, and they can borderline will themselves to win. What are your feelings? What did you learn?
What I've learned is that I guess it's maybe not even a learn. It was just I was reaffirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Frazier should be a head coach.
Agreed.
That's what I took away from this. Last year we got to see everything that Brian Daboll did that made him one of the top candidates for coaching over the summer. I think this year it needs to be a media thing that goes around where we understand that Leslie Frazier is one of those coaches that he has a scheme that whether you have elite all-pro talent like Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde and Trey White back there, or if you have guys that are rookies coming in, you have a rookie that I don't know if everybody understands how great Kyer Elam is playing. Like I don't know if everybody understands how phenomenally this kid is playing. And I don't, this young man, he's not a kid. This guy is playing like he's lights out. He's lights out. And the team that they put together, now you see Tremaine. I don't want to hear no more Tremaine hate. I've been saying that for 2 years, but now I'm really saying it. I'm going to shut you down if I hear any Tremaine hate. This guy is playing free. He's putting bodies on people. He's knocking people through the dirt. This is what I needed. Like he's putting people down. And Matt Milano, come on, man. That goal line stop. Let's get out. Come on, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the defense played outstanding. I mean, when you consider the Bills, the offense didn't put them in a good position with the first Ravens drive, right? They gave them the ball inside the 5 or at the 5 or whatever. That was, whatever. They gave up a touchdown. They gave up a field goal, and it was a situation of diminishing returns for that Ravens offense because the Bills defense basically just stiffened up. They went from breaking to bending and then kind of breaking with a little bit of the field goals to they just housed them. Like by the second half, they shut them out completely. That defense is still playing at an enormous level. We've talked about it. I've heard other people talk about it. The Bills are going up against some all-world players in the NFL. When you talk about Cooper Kupp, when you talk about, week 2 in Tyreek Hill, when you talk about, week 2, Derrick Henry, week 3, Tyreek Hill, week 4, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. And the defense is doing its job. They're just shutting people down. They're doing what they have to do to put the Bills on the right side. Now, the Miami game, we came up short, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But we've learned a lot about this football team, both from a gut standpoint, like the guts to win this game, to win games when they're down. And we've learned that defense can be relied upon when the offense is not showing up.
Yeah, it's just incredible to watch. It's one of those things where you're excited. Obviously, going into the season, I feel like most people, because you got Josh and you got Stephon Diggs, and you're excited about the offense. And we know we have a good defense, but you're excited about fireworks offense. Man, I tell you what, man, I feel like the guys, the way I think Von Miller said it, and then I feel like this is what everybody is taking on now. I feel like the defense looks at their play as offense. Like they don't look at it like, they want to have that flash and firework too. Like they're looking to make big plays and they're looking to have fun. And man, I'll tell you, it's just the second half. The first half I was a little, I wasn't all there, but that second half, it was just so much fun to watch, man. The team is just, I love it. I love everything about this team.
Speaking of the first half versus the second half, let's talk a little bit real quick. Just, what is going on? We'll call it first half woes. And it's funny because it's gone from third quarter woes, where the Bills in 2020 couldn't do anything in the third quarter of a football game, to basically being not first half woes, but first half unpleasantries. I don't know, maybe not as effective as they are in the second half. But what is it? What's going on between the first half, or in the second half, and what are they doing to put together, that second half better? And I guess the question would be, what do they have to do to put a full game together? Like, and the funny thing is like offensively, I feel like the Bills did that in Miami. They put a full kind of offensive complement on the field, right? First half to second half,
they just didn't score.
They just didn't score, right? But thoughts on that? Like, what's causing it? What do they got to do? How can we get there?
Well, so everybody knows this was one of my topics, and I'm the one that said first half woes, because I feel like even though for the first 3 games and actually I think for the last 8 games or 7 games we scored on our first possession.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't mean it in the sense where we haven't done anything, but when you look at it, the LA game, I believe we were tied going into the half.
Tie. Yep. Tie game. Yep.
But then the second half, we blow them completely out. Like, we don't
Right.
let them score. And
Right.
it's like, so when I say first half woes, I mean, like, look, we're just not the same team in the first half. It doesn't seem like we show up and we're up.
Yep.
And
Fair.
I don't know if it's just that they're like, well, let's just see what this team is doing and then let's adjust to it and blow them out. I don't know if it's that, but
Mhm.
I damn sure would love to see them come out and just say, you know what, front to back, start to finish. Let's just dog the, like, that's what I want to see. I want to, like, this Sunday, and I know we're not there yet, but that's what I want to see this Sunday.
Yeah, I feel like McDermott was asked that in the presser today. I had plenty of highway windshield time to watch pressers today. I believe he was asked that question, and he gave all the credit to obviously his coaching staff going in at halftime and making adjustments. The Bills, there's no real, like, we're going to go in for the 12 minutes of halftime. Actually 12 minutes minus the 3 or 4 minutes to walk in and walk out. We're going to go in for the 12 minutes halftime and make all these crazy adjustments. Do they make them? Yes. Do they have conversations? Yes, but the Bills adjust all the way through that first half. I think the halftime part is a culmination of what they're talking about. But the Bills often, you'll see a team, whoever they're playing on the opponent's first drive, march down the field goal, or going to stop, turnover on downs, or punt, whatever, at some point, or they'll score a touchdown. And like, there's an immediate Bills fan reaction of, oh crap, like they've got our number today. And then they just basically shut them down after that. So it's like, we're going to watch and see what you do against us, and then we're going to shut you down. Offensively, to your point, they come out guns blazing, right? It's always that start fast mentality. We got to start fast, fast. And they do. And then sometimes they go a little bit flat, which is a little bit strange. I don't know what the answer is. I wish I did. It's awesome to know that we're a second half team. But to your point, it'd be great to just see them be a first half and a second half team and just blow the doors off of somebody.
You know what I would like to see? I feel like in the third quarter, we didn't see it much this week, but I just think it was the way that the Ravens played defense. But in the third quarter, typically we come out and we see a Diggs fest. Like, he gets like 5 to 7 targets in that whatever that first drive is. Like, we're looking for him at every play.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see us open the game that way. Look for Diggs, or look for Davis, like, look for somebody and force feed them. And because, I mean, listen, people can't cover Diggs one-on-one. And to be honest with you, sometimes double teaming him don't work either. Get that guy the ball and get the offense rolling. Or, I love all of our running backs.
Yeah.
But I believe Devin Singletary needs to be the guy.
Agreed.
That takes the number one role. Buffalo Freddy says our office had Dorsey as next in line when Dabo got a head coach job. Is there an heir apparent to Frazier on defense? What do you think, Joe?
I have no idea on this one. I mean, when you think about, there's nobody that really gets talked about the way that they talk about, Joe Brady, the way that they talk about, I forget his name, but the wide receiver coach. Like, the Bills are constantly talking about offensive coaches and assistants. I don't know what that answer is. There's got to be probably somebody out there in the NFL if he's not on this team, but it seems like it's McDermott and Frazier. I think that's what's weird about it, right? So they kind of collab a little bit with McDermott being a defensive head coach. I don't even have a guess.
This is actually where I was going to go. I can't say that for sure, but I feel like the way Sean McDermott speaks about Bob is different than every other guy.
Maybe.
I'm seeing some Chad Halls in the comments. I could absolutely see Chad Hall. But realistically, I agree with you. I think they go outside the organization and they find somebody of a different caliber of coach, somebody with experience. Because I'm telling you, Leslie Frazier
should be.
I mean, he's been a head coach. So, he should be a head coach now. And so I think they look for somebody that's either already been a head coach or somebody that has that type of background that could really come in and not ruin something that was already built to be great.
Yeah, and getting back, sorry, I threw that question up there because I liked it. I thought it was a fun question while you were talking about Devin. I'm on the same page with you. And I know that he got 88% of the snaps. So I feel a little bit, because I ranted a little bit about Devin Singletary, and the rant that I had was based around his fumble. And, when you're a young football team, 2017 Bills, 2018 Bills with a new quarterback, you got rookie running backs coming in 19. If they fumble, you put him on the bench. That's James Cook fumbles, you put him on the bench just to make him remember how important it is to hang out with football. This is a Super Bowl caliber football team. And Devin Singletary is an established running back. And where I was going Sunday was I'm over this idea that like when the running back fumbles, you got to put him on the bench. Oh, you fumbled, go to the bench. We don't do that with Josh Allen. We don't, when he throws an interception, he doesn't sit on the bench for the next series. I know that Devin Singletary played 88% of the snaps. I want to see him get the ball more. I want to see his load share be higher, right? So he's at this point, he might not be an RB1 on another team, but he's our RB1. He's the most reliable, trustworthy running back that we have. He's probably the most talented running back that we have. And for goodness sakes, if you're going to take him off for series, to give him rest, I get it. Don't punish the guy. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying bye to John. I was listening to you. But no, I agree with you. I think I agree wholeheartedly about Devin Singletary being the best running back currently on this roster. I do feel like James Cook is going to develop into the best running back on this roster.
Agreed.
But right now it's Devin Singletary. And the thing for me is I think that, you're right. He played a certain amount of snaps that shows that he's the clear number one, but give him the carries to show he's the clear number one. I have nothing against Zach Moss. I have nothing against James Cook. But when it comes to, and we've talked about this previously too, you got to get in a rhythm. And if you're giving Devin Singletary the ball you hand him the ball 8 times, that doesn't really establish much of a rhythm. And on top of it, it doesn't scare the defense.
Right.
The defense is like, you know what, they're just going to pass it anyway.
Right.
Granted, I understand that the offense has built the run game into the pass game that, short passes, the screen. I love the screen. Remember when we couldn't throw a screen?
Didn't have a screen game. Yeah.
Now we're throwing into rookies, man. Like, this is awesome. Khalil Shakir he's just out there doing his thing. And so it's like, we fixed a lot of the issues that I felt like we've had offensively.
Sure.
And now we're just nitpicking because we're like, this is a Super Bowl team. We need to be perfect. But seriously, we got to get a run game. We can't have Josh lead the team in rushing every single week.
It's not great. I like the aggressive Josh better that we saw this week versus him not doing it against Miami and conversations. And I think he did it against the Rams. Just the idea that, they had 3 or 4 scripted run plays, quarterback draws called, and then the other 3 or 4 were him just feeling the hole in the center of the field. If I feel it, I can go. Like I have that privilege that I'm allowed that opportunity to run. I feel like when Josh does those things, that offense is better when he's basically pushing them. But it comes back to, I don't want to see him take 8 hits. So can he slide every single time? You want to say yes, but sometimes I don't even think it's a third down thing. If it's first down and Josh feels that gap, that lack of pressure up the middle, and he takes off, if he senses that he's 8 yards in, 2 yards away from the first down or 9 yards in, he's going head first. He's not going to slide. Like, it's like, no, it's right there. I'm going to go head first. And it puts him at unnecessary risk. An interesting thing about that is with the Tua situation and the fact that they're changing the protocols to now be, if any player gets up wobbly, they're out for the game. They're not even going to have a discussion about a head injury.
And that's what it should be. But if you ever had
your bell, you can get your bell rung and not get a concussion. You can see stars and not get a concussion. It's at the point now, that's the world you live in. All it takes is one defender going in Josh with his helmet to helmet. Josh sees stars, gets up, wobbles a little bit. He's done for the game.
You know what? Then if that's the case, then you need to be able to have teammates around you that you can speak to and say, hey, wait a minute, I just need a second, and sit there. And if it means wasting a timeout, then waste the timeout for that play and sit there if that's the case. But if you're standing up and you're trying to come back into the game and you're wobbling, I don't care if it's Josh. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I want these guys protected on every team, obviously. Agreed. My own.
Agreed.
So I agree with you where it's like, well, it might not be a concussion, but they're kicking them out. I just feel like it's getting to the point. There's no way Tua should have been on the field in the second half against Buffalo. I know you're not. I'm not
negative about that. I'm saying it has repercussions if Josh Allen, takes a smack, right?
Well, right, true.
Yeah, and it comes up. The funny thing is, I think it's instinctual. I think that for these players, a lot of times they get, especially a quarterback, they get hit hard and they hit the ground, and then it's like, I got to get up and show you I'm okay. Versus what you just said, which is like, oh, I really stung him. Look at him. He's sitting down on the ground over there. I won that battle. You know what I mean? So I think, but the question is can Josh commit to sliding? Can he, because the offense is definitely better when he, with the lack of a run game that we have, the offense is better when he's imposing his will on a defense with his feet. The trick is going to be, getting that run game and getting it consistent and getting it going. And who knows, maybe Devin Singletary fumbles less if he has the ball more.
I'm just saying, if you have a rhythm going, you're in your mojo. You're looking at holes differently. You know how
Yep.
the line is reacting to certain things. You know how your protection is.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like overall, the more experience and more reps that you have in game, I just feel like it's better for everybody. But
I agree.
to
100%.
your point about Josh, though, I do think Josh slides better. He
Agreed.
just needs to like get better from where he is now. Like he's still not there. Like, because there was a point where he was not even sliding at all. He would put his helmet down and try to knock the defender. Like he's like, yo, you a linebacker? Let's get it. Let's go head up. No, Josh. Relax. Relax.
Yeah. Relax. Please relax. Jordan Poyer this week, as you already mentioned, was voted the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. But this was another one of your topics. Actually, most of the topics tonight were yours because I was driving. But I got a lot of opportunity to think about this. I'm going to let you go first. But who was the question? Who do we feel like was the unsung hero of the weekend? I'm guessing you're saying on defense, yes, or overall.
Well, we could do overall if you want to do, or we could do both. It's up to you. But
I only did defense, but we can talk about the offense too. But go ahead, you first.
So for me on defense, I'm gonna say Groot. I think Groot he didn't have certain statistics that would make you think that this guy stood out. But when I tell you, when you go back and you just watch him, Groot is, I don't know if it's the Von Miller effect. I don't know if it's just that this team is elevated overall and they're looking at like this team as a Super Bowl contender. And he's like, I want to make sure I'm a part of it. I don't know what it is, but I will tell you, when you look at Groot play this game, Greg Rousseau is an absolute monster, and I appreciate the fact that we got a chance to draft him where we did. How he fell, thank you for messing up the combine, Groot. I appreciate you.
Groot, we apologize for our immediate disapproval, confusion.
I was disapproved. I disapproved. I was upset. No, I don't know if you remember, because I'm like, you knew you took the year off. You knew that you were a top 10 pick. How do you get yourself in this? I was going off. I'm like, how do you not just like, all you should do is practice all year. You should have the combine to the point where you're the best combine of everybody in history. I was going off. Listen, I was wrong, Groot. I am so sorry. You the man.
Yeah,
I was so wrong.
Yeah, he's playing well. Clearly, the tutelage from Vaughn is helping, and that's not even speculation. We've seen it on the sideline in training camp. We've seen it on the sideline during preseason. Like, Vaughn is very much into coaching. I remember during the red versus blue game, the entire team was going through the scrimmage, and it was Vaughn, Groot, and I think Boogie Basham that were off to the side by themselves and like distanced away from them, 15-20 yards away from them, and he was going through just different things and moves and like how he would turn his body or flex or deflect or whatever. It was just interesting to watch. But Groot is great. I want to pick unsung heroes, and that's funny too, because I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I had a hard time landing. And the reason is because I just felt like Milano and Edmonds played like such a unit in that football game. If they don't play the way that they played, he's getting his sign. That game goes completely different for us, right? So I mean, just closing in not only on Lamar Jackson, doing the things that they did, shutting down the running game late. And I know that the young kid that got hurt, Hill, late was kind of tearing him up a little bit. So thank goodness that he tweaked himself a little bit. Hope, Godspeed. Please get better.
Bodies. Sorry, that was probably the wrong time to say bodies. That was probably not the politically correct thing to say at that moment.
You're totally fine. Oh my gosh. I'm just getting it now. It's just coming in. It's like, oh, that is funny. The other one for me is Daquan Jones. Jones is absolutely one. I'm probably going to land at Daquan Jones. Unsung is unheralded. Unsung is not flashy. Unsung is the guy that nobody's talking about. We talk about Milano. We talk about Tremaine. Daquan Jones is everything that we expected Star Lotulelei to be. He is just literally, he sets the tone on the defensive line. He anchors it. He's sucking up blockers, which is allowing Vaughn to do his thing and Groot to do his thing and the linebackers to do their thing. And even the backup defensive tackles that are coming in and playing with him, he's setting it up for them to do their thing. I'm changing even though he was kind of on the vote, he's going to be the vote for me, Daquan Jones.
Oh, I don't have anything to add or to take away from that. I can't debate it. To be honest, we could probably go down the entire defense and pick plays where everybody has stood out. Like Teron Johnson, I tweeted out today that I feel like he's the most underrated player on our defense. He had just everybody, man, like everybody. And I know we mentioned Tremaine already and through my sign up, but Tremaine was bigger in that game than a lot of people want to realize.
Oh yeah.
Just everybody, man. Shaq, come on, man. And then Von is obviously Von. Von was big time.
I don't even know what to make. The hard part, I don't know what to make of Vaughn because he's so good. He's such a leader. He's such a teacher. He's such all the things that you want him to be. And then there's times when he doesn't get home or doesn't press as much as you think. And then I have to be like, well, I don't think he's getting beat. I think that's part of the game plan, right? It's just, so that was the Dolphins game and probably a little bit of this football game. There's still a measure of, it's hard to believe he's on our football team. I mean, go back. I think about it every time we talk, or every time it's talked about. Go back to when we signed him. We were talking Chandler Jones. We were talking about making a trade with the Vikings. And then all of a sudden it's just Von Miller. We never talked about Von Miller because guys like that don't come to Buffalo. And meanwhile, he's here. He wants to be here. He's trying to get OBJ here.
And he's here for a while. Like, it's not just like this year.
Yeah, for at least 3 years. It's just, I don't even know what to make of it. It's hard. I haven't got a jersey yet because I can't get one with patches anywhere. But my whole family will have one because it's got my last name on the back of it. But yeah, it's I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of it.
And you're in your 40s. That's perfect.
Well, for a couple more months. That was a low blow, Jay Spence.
No, it was. It wasn't a low blow, I promise.
I'm just kidding.
I pray to make it to your age. I pray.
You will. You absolutely. Yeah. You'll have no trouble. So moving on to the next topic, Tavon Austin. This is interesting. Tavon, peace. He gives the peace signs. Tavon Austin was asked to be released today, which was a little bit of a shock to me. Were you shocked by that?
Yes and no. I was shocked because obviously we haven't heard anything about him, so you would have assumed that he would be the guy called up. I feel like maybe now with that news coming out, I feel like it's probably Hodgins now.
Right.
Which, to your delight, this will be a great weekend of fun. But I feel like, look, I'll be honest with you, because this wasn't a topic that we were prepared to talk about, and Joe brought it up late in the conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good. You know what the biggest news for me today? Cole Beasley retired, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel more about Cole retiring than I do Tavon asking to be cut.
Yeah, so, we can talk about that, and we can talk about Prince Emili getting released, and then bringing back Justin Zimmer. Prince Emili played a good football game, a very good. He tipped the pass that Jordan intercepted. There was one play that Jeff Schwartz, of all people, was saying good things about the Bills. Was talking about the move that he made that stopped one of those goal line runs on the last drive for the Ravens. Prince Emili, and McDermott wasn't asked about it. Hey, you guys released a guy that played pretty well on Sunday to bring back Justin Zimmer, who was out of work. So why wasn't Justin Zimmer here 4 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago. But so that's interesting. The Tavon Austin thing is interesting. And what was the other one? Oh, Beasley. So I have speculation, and I tried to figure out a way to tweet it, and I couldn't figure out. So it literally just pure 100% unadulterated speculation on my part. And the Chiefs Bucks game is on right now. So what do we know about context? Pamela said Beasley saw how bad Brady was playing and decided to quit. I don't think that's it, but I think Brady's a part of it. Mm-hmm. So we know the context. The Buccaneers needed help. Brady has been in contact with Beasley, and he's been in his DMs for a couple of weeks, chatting him up. We need you type stuff. You still got gas in the tank. You ready to go. You want to be here. Come be a part of the team. So we know that was happening. What do we know about Cole Beasley? Well, if you listen to any post Beasley gone conversations, tweets, whatever, the guys in that locker room love Cole Beasley, the wide receivers in that wide receiver room. He was kind of like a teacher, a father figure to them. Like, they looked up to him. I think they called him dad, right? They called him dad.
Yeah, a lot of them did. Yeah.
Right. So so I think Cole Beasley had a lot to say. I think he had on the Bills, and his voice carried, right? There was importance to what he said, whether it was to his position coach, to probably to Josh. I'm sure Josh listened to him a lot. He's got a lot of years. Cole did a lot for Josh. He was his He was his blanket, you know, to get him out of jail as far as that goes. So he gets all of this swooning from Brady. And if you watch back the game that's on right now, the Chiefs and Bucks game, Brady's out of sync with his wide receivers. It just wasn't good early. And there's a scene on the bench where Brady's sitting there talking, whatever, blah, 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 and Cole's standing next to him. And then they hand Brady the pad so that he can kind of look at stuff. And Cole steps back like next to him and looks over his shoulder to kind of look down at what Brady's looking at. And Brady taps him on the leg and basically just shoos him away, like, get out of here. Like, I got to do my thing. And I have a feeling that was like, I try to put myself in the situation of how I would feel. Like, I'd walk over the sideline like, I thought he wanted me here. Does that make sense?
I mean, it makes perfect sense. The way I see it a similar way, like very, very close, except I think the thing was, I don't think he looked at it quite like he wanted me here. I think it was one of those things where it's like, okay, this is my best opportunity. This is my best shot. And yeah, me and Brady talked and this is finally going to work. And then when he got there, he realized to Brady that he's a guy that wasn't signed through the summer. He's a veteran minimum guy now. He's on the practice squad that has to be called up. He's not on the 53. And I think, you know, so same thing, I guess it's the same thing you're saying. Like, so now instead you're coming from being a guy who was making $6 million or $7 million or whatever you were making a year. Now you're not. And you saying, well, no, this is the type of play I like to run. This is the route that I think is good. We don't care what you think, Cole. Just get in there and go catch the damn ball. That's where it is now. He's Tavon Austin.
Right. So, and that brings us full circle to Tavon Austin, which is,
and it sucks because Cole is better than Tavon. Cole is light years better than Tavon. So when I say this, I'm not saying it as a diss, but it just, this is the reality of who he is now. He didn't get signed over the summer. He said he was looking for opportunity. It wasn't that he didn't want to get signed. He was looking for opportunity.
Yeah, he said he wanted to be in a income tax-free state, so which limited his options to Texas and Florida. So that's which is where he ended up in Florida. So, but who knows if anybody else came knocking? And he said no. Like we'll never. Well, he's Tavon.
Sorry, Anthony.
I don't think he means he is Tavon Austin. I mean, there's a
I think I could. By the way, he said I think he gets it. That stinks because I mean the same thing happened to them. They're both. Yeah. Because Tavon Austin was actually supposed to be, and he had his moment in his career, but
you did exactly what I did when I saw Sal's tweet. I just retweeted it with a peace sign. Like, barely knew you, bro. So I don't know what he would think. You know, there's guys. I'm not saying that somebody like, you know, Hodgins or even Gentry, if they bring back, you know, Tanner Gentry, I'm not saying that he deserves a shot before they get a shot, but there's something to be said for the guy that Josh played college football with and has a great rapport with, and then the other guy that was drafted, you know, a couple years ago and has expectations on this team versus the journeyman wide receiver that never first round draft pick journeyman wide receiver that never amounted to really anything anywhere.
I think it's Hodgins, because if you look at over the summer, Hodgins was the one that everybody was shocked didn't make the roster. Not Austin, not Gentry, not Kumaro. Kumaro made it, but you know, like. We were shocked about Hodgins. So at this point, he was drafted. He had a great camp his first year, got injured. Last year, pretty much we were expecting the same thing, injured. This year, he had a great camp. He looked good in preseason. And it was like, this guy is going to make the roster. We drafted him. We still got a couple years with him. Let's make this thing happen. Right. So I think it's Hodgins. And I understand from Tavon's perspective, you're a professional. You've been in this for time. You should have a certain level of respect, and like the team should just value you a certain way. But guess what? It don't work like that no more. Like the team values talent. We won a Super Bowl. Not that he's not talented, but you know, it's tough to crack. Who was he going to be?
Don't let the door hit you where the Lord split you. Right. I mean, I was one of the ones in preseason that was saying, you know, Tavon may have an outside shot to make this roster because of the issues that we have at punt returner, kick returner, stuff like that. And obviously the Bills have an issue this weekend. So you expect Khalil Shakir to be back there returning punts, but Tavon didn't even get that chance. So you got to believe there was a conversation. And I know that a lot of people have been talking about it today that, you know, hey, what's happening? And they probably said, you're not the first guy. So we don't know if a guy's coming up because McKenzie could potentially play this weekend. So we don't know if a guy's coming up or not. But if a guy is coming up, it's not you. And that's where he was like, then why am I here? To be a part of this team? In case, I mean, we're If Hodgins does come up, we're another twisted ankle away from you playing.
Right? Do you see Austin getting picked up anywhere? I mean,
no.
realistically,
him and Beasley, they're going to be drinking Mai Tais together somewhere.
Well, but that's my point. Well, B's officially retired, so yeah,
right,
he won't be.
Right.
Like, I feel like B's could have gone to Green Bay. That's where I thought he should have ended up, to be honest. But Austin, when you look at it, man, like there's a reason why we were able to get him the way we got him, as cheap as we got him,
right?
Because he just wasn't sought after that way. So it's not a disrespect, but I just look at him the same way I look at like Anquan Bolden in his time here. It's like
Anquan Bolden neither was Tavon Austin. They were never officially members of the Buffalo Bills. So
what I'm saying, like to me, it's the same. It's the same situation. I won't go as far as Vontae Davis because he actually played and retired at half. But it's like
he played a half. He's a Buffalo.
These guys just aren't. They didn't. It is what it is.
Dude, two things. Non-point is this one. And I'm gonna forget the other. What was the other point? Anyways, it's funny, right? It's funny to me. I put that out there just about the punter who shall not be named, that he was never a member of the Buffalo Bills, like, because it kind of came back up again a couple weeks ago, and people like came at me. What are you talking about? We've got pictures of him in a Bills uniform. I was like, he was never a member of the Buffalo Bills. He never made a team photo.
Well, no, technically he was, though, because he was drafted and signed a contract, and he had a guaranteed portion, which was part of the. He never
played it down. He never suited up for a game.
Listen, if I got guaranteed money from the team, I don't care if I don't care if I got a jersey, a helmet. I don't even need a name tag, bro. Just give me my check. So I think that was the problem. Why it was a little hesitation.
It's possible, but going back to wide receivers, where are you at in Jamison Crowder?
I'm hurt that he broke his ankle, man. That was rough.
You never want to see a guy get hurt, clearly, but I'm kind of over it.
No, see, I like Crowder. I know he didn't look. We're used to Cole Beasley.
He's dropping more passes than he's caught. I love him for punt returns. He's like, I have confidence in him. Like the first game of the season, I was like, oh my gosh, how's this going to go? And now he's back there. I'm like, oh, we're good. We're good. But just from a wide receiver standpoint,
see, I don't know. I feel like this last game we can say that before he got injured. But when you think he made big plays for Josh, he made one in LA.
He made
one in Tennessee. It was like 2 first downs in Tennessee, or when Tennessee came to Buffalo.
Yep.
So it's like, one game he didn't have the best of times out there. But no, I actually did. I like him, and hopefully he heals up and he's able to make it back, and hopefully we see him next season. But I'm excited to see Hodgins.
They're talking about 4 weeks of IR for him, aren't they?
Well, I don't know how long. I feel like when it was broken, I believe. So I think it's going to be longer than 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then, but even if he comes back, the thing is, I think by that point it's going to be really tough to take Hodgins off this team. Or Stevenson is also coming back. I don't think people remember that we have Stevenson on this team, and he's been like, we just have not talked about him.
So Stevenson's another one. So it's going to be, and I think McDermott said today that he's week to week, and he might be a little bit of ways away before he even starts practicing. The Hodgins part for me, as much as we saw Isaiah Hodgins play the slot in training camp and in preseason, we know that he can play the slot. He doesn't really fit the slot design that the Bills want, seemingly, from a slot receiver: short, fast, quick, twitchy, blah 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 blah. Hodgins is more of a boundary guy, like a Kumaro, like a Gabe Davis. The question is if Hodgins comes up, I don't know that he plays the slot. Isn't that Shakir? Shakir's going to the slot, right?
I think Shakir, and I think you see a lot more Stephon Diggs in the slot, and I think
it's
you
possible.
Put Hodgins on the outside, and I think you put Davis on the outside, and then whenever Diggs feels like being Diggs, and throw him back out there. But I think Diggs in the slot right now would eat the league alive, man. Like, it would just be him in the slot would be too dangerous. So and I don't know why we don't consistently do it more.
So when OBJ shows up, it's obviously, I mean, you're bouncing Hodgins at that point, right?
Me? Yes. So I don't care who we're hopping. So like when OBJ shows up, everybody's gone except Steph. Y'all all can go. Like when Odell Beckham Jr., if he gets signed to the Buffalo Bills, it's going to be the day. It's going to be the happiest version of Jay Spencer King any of you have ever seen. I'm going to just tell you, damn it, if we sign Odell Beckham Jr., shout out to Buffalo Freddy. He's in the chats. He says, rumor has it Joe Miller is off short-term IR and will be tailgating Sunday. In honor of that, I'm bringing my triple blender daiquiri and margarita machine. I nominate Joe for pouring margaritas. Listen, if y'all haven't tailgated with Buffalo Freddy, I'm sorry for you. Like, I just want to apologize for you.
Well, you
That guy's crazy.
you can find him this week at the Bills Mafia every week. I think at the Bills Mafia house. But so first of all, I make a mean margarita. Second of all, I love tequila. There's people that like do tequila shots because they think it's fun. I don't do tequila shots because I want to have fun. I just like the taste of tequila. So I'm a little bit abnormal. I am still on IR though. So I did have my follow-up appointment for my knee surgery. They're very happy. I've got better range of motion than I should have at this point in time. I've gone and see the physical therapist. They said I still cannot do anything extraneous heavy. I have to treat it like I just had surgery for another 4 weeks, and then I'll be off of temporary IR. So don't get ahead of where we're at. But I'm still
I need you to be careful at the game.
I'm still good for frozen margaritas, though. I mean, come on.
I'm just saying that's still a lot of walking. That's a lot of activity on that leg. I just need you to relax.
Appreciate
No,
that.
I'm just saying. I know you. I just need you. when it's game time, Joe he's all in. So I just need you to be careful, man.
I'll do my.
We don't need you to extend your IR. We don't need that.
I definitely don't want an ACL. That's not what I'm signed up for. You've done that. You've been down that road. So yes, fun. Thank you, Buffalo Freddy, for the super chat. What is next? So that was a little fun little tangent we had there. Oh, injury report for the Buffalo Bills. You have that, don't you?
I do. I think it's up here.
There it is.
So it's full as usual, but I feel like this is a very, very encouraging injury report compared to the last 3 weeks.
Right.
Because you're seeing, you got the do not practice for a couple guys, but you're also seeing more limiteds and a couple fulls. And the things with the do not practice, we know Jordan's fine. Jordan, he's playing.
Right.
Stafford, veterans rest. Miller, veterans rest. McKenzie had a concussion. He might be okay come this week. Gabe Davis is full. So there's a lot of things where you're seeing Daquan Jones with vet rest. So I feel like this week we're going to be more at full strength than we've been all season, and it's going to be so incredible to watch, and I can't wait. Yeah,
I'm saying it's definitely nice to finally see ourselves getting a little bit healthy, and then obviously, I'm going to transition off that if you want to pull that down. Kenny Pickett replacing Mitch Trubisky, which to me, I think that's big news. Do you think that's big news, or was that expected this early? To me, that's big news for me because I expected Mitch to play so much better, and big news for me because this isn't the game I would start Kenny Pickett.
I think that's my thought. Like, I don't think it's big. It's big news because your rookie quarterback is now taking over your franchise and he's going to be starting. But I feel like it either should have happened like week 2 or probably after the Bills. Like, you don't want your first game with Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott are not kind to rookies. Like, they don't care.
That defense, that stadium, that crowd, like. I mean, it could go opposite on us, right? We just saw, what was his name? Whoever that kid in New England was almost beat, right? He almost beat
Mini Mac. I call him Mini Mac. He looks just like Mac. He looks just like Mac Jones.
There was a joke somewhere. It might have been Good Morning Football that Belichick just calls basically every quarterback Tom. Like, he doesn't actually know who they are or their names, or that Tom is even gone. He just calls them all Tom. So they are kind of like
I can see it.
Carbon copies of each other. Bailey Zappi, that guy. Thank you, Chris Janke.
Mini Mac.
Yeah, that mini milk. that works. But no, this is definitely not the game that I would have put him in ideally. And why did we fall in love with the backup quarterback? Why do we all love Mitch Trubisky so much?
I think it's the culture and the way the team spoke about him. And, so like we were able to just same thing with Matt Barkley, same thing with like we fall in love with everybody on our team.
Right.
Buffalo is a fan base that we embrace everybody on our roster unless you're just a complete idiot.
Right.
And really, no, I can't even say that. Sometimes we can move on from that, but because that could take a turn. We'll move on from that. But like we love Mr. Trubisky here, and we wanted him to do well because he was a Buffalo Bill for a year, and so you get to Pittsburgh, and in my mind, dude, I'm thinking he's going to be better than what we saw from Ben Roethlisberger. Like last year, I feel like the Steelers had a good defense. They had solid weapons on offense. When you got that running game, you got those wide receivers. I think Johnson is nice, man. Like that kid. And then Claypool, he hasn't been getting the same separation as I've expected from him, but he's still. You get him the ball. What?
Just hard stop on that. Antonio Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster, right? Claypool, Deontay Johnson. What is in the water? like over there. They just draft great wide receivers. Sorry.
Like, great. No, you're right. They and that's the thing. Like, so the same way Brandon Beane has an eye for defense. Well, I think he has an eye for talent, period. But Brandon Beane has it, and Sean McDermott. Listen, Mike Tomlin and that front office over there, they do a great job drafting weapons, whether it be receivers or running backs.
Chris Janke, was Mike Tomlin a wide receiver? I know he played college football.
I believe it was a wide receiver.
So it might be onto something there.
Yeah. So I mean, I was shocked that he's not the guy to go in there and look, and is better coaching. So I thought he would look better than he did in Chicago, because Mike Tomlin to me is a top 5. To me, I don't want to argue about it, but he's that guy. So you would think a coach like that, an offensive system like that with those weapons, he finally has. I just thought he was going to show up.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, you got to find a way to get like somebody with eyes into Mike Tomlin's office when the draft board is up to see who he's targeting as a wide receiver, because he's got a gift. That dude can just find wide receivers. Chris Janke says, yes, he was. McDermott was a safety on the same team at William & Mary. Yeah, so I thought he was a wide receiver, but I just wasn't completely sure. But
speaking of Mike Tomlin real quick, I want to play this clip. We got, if you don't, we can go maybe 10-15 minutes overtime if you got time.
No, we're good. Like I was trying to, I wasn't rushing, but I was working us through the topics to get to this. So yes, okay. You're good.
So, with what we're talking about with Coach Tomlin, he has some kind words for Josh Allen and Von Miller. But first, I want to talk about this Josh Allen take, and I want to get everybody in the comments, opinions, and obviously yours.
Are there coaching techniques or principles that you can give guys to try to deal with those situations?
Yeah, build a fence. Those are his talents. It's just like trying to tackle Lamar Jackson. I was watching them on the other side of the ball deal with Lamar. And when you're dealing with guys at the quarterback position that have arm and leg talent, it's challenging. And so, you can coach all you want about near leg and building the fence and all of those things, but when they get you in one-on-one circumstances, they're going to win a lot of those. They've been winning a lot of those at every level that they've ever played at since Little League, I would imagine.
First of all, can I just say how much I love Mike Tomlin?
I've never listened to a Mike Tomlin press conference before, and it was his opening remarks were like a 15 or 20 minute monologue that a content creator would put together for the preview of the next game.
He's amazing. And I like the thing I love about him. I love Sean McDermott. I love the Buffalo Bills, but I really think Mike Tomlin is probably my favorite coach in the league for several reasons. He really engages with the media when they ask him questions. He doesn't just give them coach talk. He'll sit there and have a full, like you just saw there, he'll have a full conversation with you. He'll explain what he saw. And if you watch him as a fan, you get smarter. You learn football. And then he also has values, which most coaches do. But I mean, there's just something about and then everybody tells me I sound like him. I don't personally think it's true, but
no comment.
But I love him. I love him. So, and then real quick, well, first, let me get your take on or how you feel about what he just said there about Josh.
It's funny because he's absolutely right, and my microphone was muted so you couldn't hear me, but I laughed when he said you build a fence around him. It's good luck trying to stop Josh Allen, but maybe not. Maybe Josh has been doing this at every level: high school, JUCO, college, whatever. I don't think he has. For some reason, he was not heralded at all coming out of high school, coming out of JUCO, right? He was coming out of Wyoming, not Mike Mayock, but what's the other guy's name? The draft guy? Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper had him ranked super, super high, but everybody else kind of didn't. There was some people that thought that the Browns were going to take him first overall. They didn't. They took Baker Mayfield, who was probably the most pro-ready next to Sam Darnold. And there's whole other conversations and shows to be had about how these people miss so bad, right? I mean, because we hear these things, and as consumers, we buy into Sam Darnold's ready to play football today. Marcus Mariota's ready to play football today. Jameis Winston, and it's like these got bust.
Baker Mayfield,
dude. I had an argument last year with Bills content creators about Justin Fields. The Justin Fields. Like, I watch OSU football because my wife graduated from there. I'm not a huge college football fan, but I watch a lot of Buckeye games, and I just didn't see it. So I put a tweet out there. I just don't see it. And people are like, oh, this kid's he's gonna be really good. It's like, he's not really good. Not yet. Anyway, not saying he won't be.
I think he's gonna be okay. I don't think he's gonna be. And I love and hate how everybody wants to say, oh, he has the Josh Allen intangibles.
Right.
Same thing with Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance
yeah.
is going to be a decent quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a super. And I hate to say it this way because I think a lot of people, they take offense when you talk about their team in a certain way. But I just don't think he has the intangibles to be a really good quarterback. But I don't see what's happening with Jalen Hurts or what happened with. I don't see that happening with Trey Lance or. Really most of the guys like, especially, and I know I just mentioned Baker, you didn't. Baker Mayfield, like he's this guy's a bum. Like, how do you go from Cleveland and you make all of this fuss about how everybody OBJ is the problem and the team is the problem and the coaching staff is the problem and the players are they had a doggone Pro Bowl roster for like the first and second year. He had two top wide receivers, 2 top running backs, a great tight end, a great offensive line, a great defense. Like what more do you need? You give Josh Allen that team. Actually, he has it now, but you give Josh Allen that team, and what do you think he does?
Dare I say that losses are not a quarterback stat?
They're not a quarterback stat, but I tell you what, he helped lose. He's the one that he put those guys in position not to win. What I want my quarterback is to not lose the game for me.
Yeah.
Look, if you get a stud like Josh Allen, you get a Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert who can win it for you.
True.
Thank God. I appreciate you, Jesus. But when you're talking about people like Baker Mayfield, I expect you not to lose the damn game. And what does he do? He throws the ball into the third row. Like, come on, man. Win the damn game. Anyway, Baker's
by the way, just it needs to be said that Jay Spencer King has a Baker Mayfield jersey. So
I do have a Baker Mayfield jersey, and it's awesome. I took it out yesterday. I have to get another one, but
it goes out every day or so to the big green box outside on the curb. Still one of the best tweets I've ever seen in my entire life. Was
what that would pop now? Like now, it would really take off.
You scratching Mayfield and the number 3 on the back of a trash bag with an orange wrap white trash bag. It was
perfect. It was like the Browns colors and everything.
Literally, they should have just shut down Twitter. Like right after that, everybody sees it, then they just shut down Twitter. Twitter's over. Like we're gonna end on a high note, and that's where we're gonna end right there. Like Twitter's done. So it was amazing.
All right, real quick, I want to play one more clip from Mike Tomlin talking about our newest addition on defense, Von Miller.
He's Von Miller. Some guys are aliens visiting from another planet. And that's just the reality of it. Man, in the National Football League, man, you got to respect all these guys, right? They're all freaky. But some guys are even freaky in our setting. And he's just one of those guys. He always has been since he came out of A&M, moving and changing and running like a corner. He needs no endorsement from me. His resume is his resume. Kudos to Von Miller, tip of the cap to Von Miller. And I'll say this. We talk about his talents often, but this guy's a scientist. He works at his craft. He encourages, trains others to do so that are like him. That edge rush summit and things that he's a critical component of, I got a lot of respect for. I spent a week with him in Orlando when we coached the Pro Bowl, and just to see the professional and scientific approach that he takes to his craft, even in a setting like that. That guy was the reason we won that Pro Bowl game. I know we don't spend a lot of time talking about the outcomes of Pro Bowl games, but man, Von Miller took over that Pro Bowl game and gave us all quality checks, man, and we appreciate his efforts.
You see, I just love that guy. I do.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, he's just awesome. But so he had high praises for I want to say the best players on offense and defense for our team.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, one thing that is refreshing to me is now this is the second week in a row that I personally feel like we're going into a game against a team that I can actually respect. Like I don't have to go in there and hate Pittsburgh Steelers, and like I love the team. I'm just not going to root for them this week, but I love I just love the way they build their team. My guy Levi Wallace is over there now. We got some guys over there that we love. So I just, we're going to get that. We're going to get at that ass this week. So just prepare for it. Pittsburgh is going down. Renegade is playing and the Bills is out. We might play it in our stadium just to mess with y'all. But
I just want Von Miller I want him to get 10 sacks this year. I don't know. I don't even know where he's at. Does anybody know where he's at this year? Do you know how many sacks he has so far? Is it 2?
I can look it up, but I feel like maybe
actually looking it up
3 in my head. I feel like
I would love to see him get he's got
3
3 in the season. What an amazing season to see him get double-digit sacks. And just, and then just be a monster in the postseason. What is it about some guys? Because as much as we love Jerry Hughes, as much as Jerry Hughes has similar characteristics to Von Miller, speed, twitch, moves, why does Von Miller get home and Jerry didn't? Like, he's just, he's an alien from another planet, is what Mike Tomlin said, right?
And I'm gonna go with that, because when you look at him, man, he's different, and it's like to really explain what's so different about him is tough unless you've played. And I'm not the guy, I'm not a player, so I can't. But Von is special, man. My man Brian says your boy Levi Wallace gonna get cooked by Diggs. Yes, he is, and I can't wait to see it. I love Levi. I can't wait to talk crap to Levi. He gonna hear it. You got ate by Steph. I can't wait to talk mess. I love Levi though. Shout out to Levi Wallace and his family, man. Good people, really good people.
That is hysterical. It's fun to hear a quality head coach talk in depth and in detail about Bills players versus the typical head coach speak, right? Mm-hmm. They pose a challenge, you know what I mean? They're very good at what they do, yada, yada, yada. So we've got to have a game plan to specifically take care of that situation, right? I mean, I think that was pretty well done, I think. But it still goes back to, I believe it was 2020. 2020 was the COVID year that we did not go to any games that year. You and I went to the Colts game. So was it 19? There was a year, I can't remember when it was, when the players were coming out of the tunnel.
It was 19 degrees. Yes, it was cold. It was cold.
That's
not what you were asking.
And I literally looked at my dad as they're announcing the players. I'm like, superstars. We've got superstars on this football team. And I don't know that we have landed with that concept, that reality that they're superstars on this football team.
If I'm not mistaken for this as well, like to add to what you're saying, Groot actually has 4 or 5. I think it's 4 sacks. I don't think he has 5, but let me double check on that as well. But man, it's just awesome. It's just awesome to have all of this talent.
It's pretty crazy. Do you want to get into game predictions and Josh Allen stat lines?
Let's get it. Was that the last one?
That was the last one.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So in the comments, let's get it. Let's start talking about give us your game predictions, your score predictions, and then give us a stat line for Josh. And you know what? I'll even let's take this a little step further, because I like Kenny Pickett. Watching that game back over the weekend, I know they lost. I know he threw that Hail Mary up and got an interception and threw it. I actually like what I saw from Kenny Pickett. I think I think he has what it takes to be a leader in his league. I think he has the intangibles. I think so I'll give me your stat line for both.
Wait, did you watch Kyle's Basement with Josh?
No, I have to start watching that. Like every time I remember it, I feel like it's like Thursday or Friday when
still good.
I forgot about last week. So
still relevant.
I got to get to it.
So Kyle had asked him, because they talked about Kenny Pickett coming into Buffalo for his first start as a rookie away game. and Kyle asked him, what was your first, that type of situation? And Josh was like, I didn't know what I was doing. He goes, I'm at the line of scrimmage making blocking assignment calls, so I'm calling blocks. He's like, the offensive linemen are turning around and going, that's not right. You can't do that. Like, that's not even possible. So he didn't say, but it was almost inferred, like, okay, just block left. He's like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know anything as far as that goes. He goes, he's just come so far, which was funny to me. It'll be interesting for me to see what they do to Kenny Pickett. At the very same time, every time it seems like I expect something, the opposite happens. So would I be surprised at this point in time if Kenny Pickett threw for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions? I don't think so. Do I expect him to throw for 115 yards and 3 interceptions and 0 touchdowns? Yes, that's my expectation. But it wouldn't surprise me if he threw for 280 and 2-2. So 280.
It would surprise me if he threw for 280. It would, because when you look at what we did to Matt Stafford, I know he doesn't look like himself. 100%. You look at what we did to Tannehill. You look at what we did to Tua. I know we lost the game, but he's better than, he Tua before the injury. Yep. We didn't want to give him credit because, I get it. It's Miami. Tua's a better quarterback than we want to give him credit for.
Very much. Very much.
So I'm just saying, looking at what we did to look at Lamar Jackson. I know he doesn't consistently throw for 400, but I'm telling you, you go look at his career. He has games where he's thrown for 380 yards and 5 touchdowns. Yep. So look, for the defense to shut them down completely in the second half, I just think that this defense is too complicated for a rookie to come in this first start of his career and come out with a win in Buffalo. I just don't see it.
How much does Levi Wallace and Mitch Trubisky help him? That was one of the things Tomlin said. We expect Mitch to give us intel, for lack of a better way of saying it, to help prepare us to better succeed against that team.
Mike Tyson said.
Way back.
I'm just saying, Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
And guess what? You could plan. Mitch could give you the playbook from last year. Here it is, coach. Guess what? Until you play against Josh Allen, it don't matter about that playbook, because we saw plays like what he did to Dawson Knox in the fourth quarter, where he made that big catch. Was it a third down catch for a first down or a fourth down play for a first down? Either way, it was impossible for Josh to make that throw. You couldn't make that. Come on, man. Like, you couldn't even see Dawson from behind Josh. You couldn't even see Knox anywhere, and Josh flicked it out there with a flick of. Come on.
It was the third down. I think it was was it second?
I feel like it was four. I think it was like 4th and 3 or 4th and 2 or something like that. I could be wrong. In the comments, let me know. But it was that fourth quarter play where Josh tossed it to Knox behind 2 defenders, and then out of nowhere, this guy is like, "Look, you can have a plan. Give him the playbook." Matter of fact, Josh, call those dudes and give him the playbook. Just give it to him.
We're gonna give you a little bit of a head start.
We are 14-point favorites.
So 14.5 was the last I heard. But yes, to your point. So Josh Allen stat line. So I'm somewhere between 115 yards for Kenny Pickett and 280. I don't know where I'm at in there. But the Josh Allen, I know I know a bunch of people are putting it in there as far as what their stat line predictions are. Josh Allen, for me in this game, the Steelers are still a formidable defense, and Josh Allen hasn't had a mountain of success. So we beat him 2 years ago. I think he had a modest day. We lost to them last year. The offense struggled. Josh talked about it today as far as them showing the offense things they were not prepared for at all. One of them was Melvin Ingram, who the Bills played against the Dolphins. That dude is just a bill killer. I think I'm going to label him the bill killer. But I think Josh Allen has a modest day as well. I think he's probably in that 320 range, which is a modest day.
Modest day
for Josh. It is, right? I mean, he doesn't.
It's just crazy. No, it's just crazy to think like a 300+ yard game is a modest day for a quarterback. But you're right. Like, that's how we view Josh now. And it's like, he could go out and throw for 4.
Right. Right. So maybe, same thing, 3 touchdowns, maybe one of those rushing. But I think Josh is going to have a good day. I don't think the Bills necessarily have a problem. The Steelers will probably hit some plays, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to pose a threat. Final score.
Needs it.
My fantasy needs it. Final score.
Yeah. For me, I think the Bills cover the spread. I think it's probably even more than that. Like, I'm going like 35-10. I just don't see. Look, unless Najee Harris has a day, they actually have 2 good running backs now. It's not just Najee, but unless the running game has a day, I just don't. There's no way I'm gonna. And look, if I'm wrong, I'll come out here next week and I'll tell everybody, look, I was wrong. Yeah, I know I don't have a problem coming on here admitting when I messed up. Look, I just don't see Kenny Pickett having a day against this Buffalo. First of all, and then Jordan got challenged nationally, like, to get more interceptions.
13 of them.
I can tell you with confidence. He took that personally, and he is looking for 2 this weekend.
He's looking for 2.
I'm just telling you.
That would be amazing.
I didn't say he said that. What I said is I can tell you he's looking for 2.
Yeah. I don't know who Stickman is, but this is great. So Stickman actually says 320. Sorry. Yeah. And then he sits out the fourth quarter. Modest day for Josh Allen. Score wise, man, 14.5 is a lot, dude. And Vegas always kind of knows what's up. But I'm probably in that 28-17 range, 35 to. I can't see them scoring 3 touchdowns. Can you see them scoring 3 touchdowns?
No, I think they scored 1 in a field goal. That's why I said 10. Like, they're not doing,
Maybe,
I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Rethinking it, I might be right there with you where you are. 35-13, 35 to 17. Wildest dreams line, bro. Pay all pro.
Can I ask Freddie why he has a Grey Goose bottle as his profile picture? Like, this is insane.
You can't ask permission to do something when you do it.
Well, technically I can. Like, I didn't quite ask him, but but yeah, let's look at these scores. So where are you at with it?
I'm probably going to land at 35-13.
35-13. I can see that. 35-10 is where I'm at, but 35-13, I wouldn't be too.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, like, we feel like, Steph says she think they might score 17 max.
I can't see 2 touchdowns.
I can't.
The Bills do everything they can to take away the best player on offense from the other team. As much Najee Harris is a nice player. He's not the most dominant runner. He's not Dalvin Cook at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's not Derrick Henry. Like, he's not that dude at running back. Could he potentially become that guy? Yes. I just don't see a situation where he goes crazy. The only way they score 2 touchdowns is if Najee Harris loses his mind in this football game, and the Bills are not going to let that happen.
And Sunday, I'm looking at it now too. So game time,
58 and sunny.
And 50s and sunny. So look, I don't. Josh will not have any limitations. Josh is going to come out there, and Josh is going to be that dude. And I don't see it. I don't see it, Joe.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been tuned into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. My name is Joe Miller, one of the hosts of this here show. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That guy over there is one of my very best friends in the whole world, Jay Spence the King. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Spence the King. Jay Spence, final words.
Go Bills. Pay all pro. Pay my dude.
I
know I get annoying. I understand.
No, I'm trying to. So it's literally, but it's not just Poe. It's like Tremaine.
Right. That's what I said. I know I get annoying. I know I do.
Tremaine,
I get annoying.
Like, pay Jordan Poyer, go get that thing, and then go Bill. I mean, I think you're right there. I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. Go ahead. You say something?
No. Let's go.
Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Go Bills.
Peace. Go Bills.